first off, this is so cool for me to be able to sit down with you. I wish we did this in person, and we will.
Okay. Okay.
This will not be the only time that I sit and talk with you about the journey.
Okay.
But Tony Pearson, you are someone that was relevant to me when I discovered what I wanted to do with my life. I
Oh,
got to watch you on ESPN
okay.
back in the day, and I got to see you pose and compete. Peaceful warrior. I got to see you compete and do what you do. Um, I guess that was 78, 79.
Oh, wow. We're going way
Yeah.
back. We're going way back.
Yeah, we're jumping way back, kid. And I saw you, and I was that impressionable kid. I call it an ignorant bliss, which I still have today, and I love because I saw what you were doing, and I go, that there is something I'm gonna do. Um, and I grew up in very much a family of martial artists and football and wrestling and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay.
And I'm like, I'm taking this to another I want to be show and go.
Right.
And watching you do that and win and compete and show your art piece to the world, I was like, this is something I have to be involved in. And so thank you from me to you on setting that little kid up that I still believe I am today, um, to chase the journey of the art piece of the physique of what we call bodybuilding to the world. But to me, it's an art piece. It's the Michelangelos of today creating something.
Exactly. It's a piece of art. Well, I'm glad I inspired you. I mean, we all have somebody that inspires us. So, I had Muhammad Ali. So, so there's always somebody that you say, "Oh man, I just want to be like that guy." I really appreciate that. So it's an honor.
Absolutely. It's it was cool too because I found out later through the years and decades, we'll say decades of getting to know you and others that I looked at, that there was a quote my dad said to me when I was very young. He says, "To be the best, you have to be the greatest. You have to be the best, right, at your sport. But
Right.
to stay on top is character." And I thought that was very interesting. And as a young kid, I wasn't smart enough to understand what that meant. But then I got to meet these guys that I grew up to and their characters. And I could see why they separated themselves from others.
Hmm.
And there's that moment when we're in our teens and 20s that we're on stage and we destroy the competition. But there's such a small amount of people that are at seasoned as you are, or Robbie, or
Hmm.
Zane,
Hmm.
that are still doing it. And it's the characters of who you guys are. To me, is that's why you're still in the creative mode. The passion is still there to create this physique. Could you, in your own way, tell us how is it possible to stay committed for as long as you have?
It's love. You got to love what you do. Um, and to me, it was a fight. I was just trying to prove something to other people too, because the naysayers always whispering at you. It's never going to happen. So you just as well. I just keep your mouth shut and go and do your work and see what happens on stage. I lasted 20 years, up there and just kind of walked away from it. But I still do it. I came back a couple of times recently and competed. It's just love. You enjoy what you do. You got to love bodybuilding, because if you don't, you're going to burn out. You're not going to survive it. It's a hard sport. It's a lonely sport. You got to sacrifice everything in life for it. So it's something. It's a passion that you dream about. You enjoy doing. I've lost more shows than I won, but I just keep coming back, because it wasn't really about always winning. It was trying to be the best. I want to be the best performer on stage too. So it's a combination of all those things. You said art. Bodybuilding is art, because you're sculpting yourself. Before I compete, I have a vision of what I want to look like, and that's the goal. And sometimes to get that look, you almost die for it, because you're starving to death. You're training twice a day. You go 20 weeks twice a day training. You cut it right out of your life, and but just to get that look, you go on stage and says, "Yes, I achieved what you know." You might not win, but you did the best that you could do. So that's yeah. It's I still love it. You know, I'm turning. You know my age. I'll be mid late 60s coming up soon, but I still love it. I still go to the gym. I still work out. Have I lost size? Yes. I mean, because I said, why carry extra 15, 20 pounds of muscle when I'm not back on stage? It's, you know, what about my health now? So it's more about my health, but I still enjoy going to the gym. Those are good moments. I can go in there and just put my little hood on and train like the old days. In my head, I'm still 30, and you know, you don't age, because if you
You
start thinking
don't.
you're old, you become old. So I just do my little squat, deadlifts, bench press, whatever I can do.
You took it to another level. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because I want these people to understand when I asked you about kept it in it, you went right to the point of where you went and battled people on stage. You're not just this guy, hey, I'm in shape. You know, you're not Michael Hearn just in shape in the gym. You're on stage competing, throwing down with these guys. Again, I go back to that peaceful warrior mentality that you want the tussle, you want that second level to it, and that kind of keeps that fire alive. I got a question for you. For those people out there that maybe won't get on stage, I try to express that it's what you said. It's that you love it, and there's a statement that you said is that you need the fight, and I love that because I and we don't age, because every day I walk into the gym, I'm still that 14-year-old that walked into the gym and competed for the first time. I feel like that every time, and it is the fight that we like. Can you express what that is? Why do we torture ourselves? Why do we diet that hard? Why do we train that hard? And what is this fight that we're dealing with? Is that a chip on the shoulder that we should just let go?
It's not a chip on the shoulder. It's just it's a passion. It gets in your blood. It's in your head. You live for it. You know, you want to be the best that you can be, and it's a lot of work because genetically I had a good structure, but I didn't have any muscle size. So I had to work 10 times hard. I had no legs, I had no chest, I had no triceps, but I built it. If you look at some pictures of mine, I put everything together. I completed the full body. All body parts was matching, every the tie-in, small waist, the hips, everything. But that's work. That's just work. And people go, "Oh, you look so okay," but they don't understand. When I go to train, work out, there's a master plan. I look that way for a reason. Every cut, every striation you see, I created. It's kind of like Frank Zane. He created this physique of his, upside down, upright rows, off the wall stuff. It's just a combination of things, but instinctively you start to learn your own body. You know, I trained with Robbie Robinson for a long time as well. He taught me so much. Training back in St. Louis, George Turner, thanks for him, rest in peace. He taught me a lot. But then I worked on myself. I got rid of the training partners. I didn't train with pros anymore. I moved to Atlanta and I trained by myself with Superman Blunt down there. And we just kind of mastered myself. When I went back to LA, I said, "Oh man, you changed a lot." Yeah, we doing squats, training twice a day like crazy people. You know, it was fun to me. It wasn't like work. I didn't feel like, oh God, I gotta go to the gym today. I can't wait to get to the gym. I'm like kicking the door in. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And soon as you put the weight down, I got to pick the weight up because I got to keep moving. Yes, so it was fun. We would train like crazy people, and then go eat as much as we can, and go fall asleep. And the train, eat, and sleep.
So full-time bodybuilder is
Yes,
what we call it over
train, eat, and
here.
sleep. That's what we do. So it was never a job. It was never painful. It was never like, oh God, I want to do it. That was I injured sometime? Yeah, my knee still hurts. Had a whole career on a bum knee. So, but it didn't stop me. I still squatted 400 pounds, you know, lunge and leg press, 1,000 pounds. You just continue to do it. At the end, yes, I feel a little bit beat up because you pay a price for it, you know, all athletes do. And of course, the diet takes a lot out of you. You got to be disciplined with the diet because that's key. If you're not in shape, you can train all you want.
Don't jump down too much. You got decades of living in the trenches and knowing this stuff. I got to slow you down because they're gonna miss the bites that you're giving here. And just for you, everybody that's watching this right now, and it's you're learning something that I speak about, and I love that it's somebody else saying this, is that it's not work. We love it. And I can feel the passion, and I always have with you. it didn't matter training once or twice a day. You get to do it. You don't have to do it. You get to do it, and you
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're still a kid, and we're not spring chickens no more, but we are spiritually. We were still those kids that love to go in there and just destroy the weights
Yeah.
and do that. And I think it's so cool that you said that even at your age, and we are seasoned, I get it, but we're still in the fight and we still love it. And it wasn't the motivation, it was the passion and love. And you took it to a whole nother level too. You didn't just, there wasn't just one aspect for you. You when you're on stage, you have this piece of art that you created, this Michelangelo David sculpture, but then you showed it in another way that so few ever did. Some guys went, yeah, but you're up here and you're flowing and entertaining the audience. And I just remember, I think it was you guest posed up at in Washington State when I was still a pup, and I was watching you, and I was just like, wow, he has the physique, but he has this way of showing the physique that just made it another depth to who you are. What goes through getting ready to get on stage and show that performance?
Well, posing is an art, and you are the piece of art. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of rehearsal time getting those poses together, transitioning from one. Once again, I had some really good coaches to teach me how to pose. I learned very quickly. You show me once, I got it. So you transition from one pose. I was the worst poser ever, because the first time I hit a pose for George Turner, he said, my grandmother can pose better than that. So, so I come a long way, but I spent a lot of time working on my poses because I realized I'm not the biggest guy on stage. So I got to show something unique and different. I got to draw some attention to myself. So the back poses, the vacuum pose, the crush, the lat spray, and all these crazy things, it's just something you create. You create yourself. You redo yourself. I stole a little bit from Zane. I stole a little bit from Robbie. I take a little bit and then try to make it my own. Does that make any sense?
Oh yeah.
You're a performer. When you come on stage, you're not verbally talking to people, but your face expression, your movement, your transition is talking to people. And the louder they get, the more intense you get on your posing. It's like you give them what they want.
Yeah, I think you said it there. It's like you are performing and you aren't speaking with words, and that's the coolest thing, I think, is when you're doing that. And when I watch individuals, I could see them speaking even when they're lifting. I'm like, oh, I know what he's thinking. I know where they're going with this set. I know what's going on in the mind. And it's the same as like when you're on stage and you're posing. It's cool to see somebody speak so loudly,
right,
without using voice.
You don't need words.
And in today's world, everybody uses their voice and says, it's everything. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their thing. And I go back to the people that are that old school mentality of get the work in. Like you said, it's not easy.
No.
And it's not easier. It was much easier for you in your 20s than it is now.
Oh God, yes.
But you're still doing the work.
Right. I still figure out how to do stuff. I have a lot of history behind me and I know how it's done. Some exercises I can't do anymore, but I still do enough to maintain. And I mean, I know what I'm doing because I know how to.
You're not maintaining. Let's throw that out the window. You're not maintaining. You're minimizing the decline.
Yeah.
And you're one of the greatest to ever do this for the period that you've been doing this. It's not like, I mean, you've been here for a long time and you're still up here at the top. And
50 years.
Yeah. And it wasn't because you saw some meme on Instagram back in the 50s and 60s like I did. It's like, oh, that's why I'm pushing it, because I heard somebody speak once and that just fired me up to go. It doesn't work that way. There was something that lit in you early, as a teenager, and you were done. You were like, this is the journey.
You can't let go. You're hooked.
And I said something earlier, and I think that everybody has a chip when they're young, the naysayers and all this stuff. And I like my chip that I used it in the right way, and I
Mhm.
didn't let it destroy me. I let it build me. Is there anything that you happened as a youngster that you used in the positive way instead of it going, could you have gone one way instead of the way that you went?
No, because when you always tell me what I can't do, that's when I'm going to show you that I can do, and I'm not going to go anywhere. I always felt that they kind of wanted me to just go away. Could this guy just go away? But I refused to go away. So they placed me really low. I said, keep coming back, smile on my face, still do my show. I was performing. And it was a job as well. You get exhibitions and seminars, so that kept you moving forward. But I just kept doing it. The negative energy just gave me more energy. That's all it did. Thankfully inspire me. That's what I would say. Okay, I go back to the gym. I just lost a show. Now I got to wait another year to try to win that show. And that's when you just train even harder. Just take it to the next level. With your mouth shut. Don't complain. Don't be a complaining, crying about it. Just do the work. Come back bigger and better. That's all you can do.
Where'd that come from?
Well, that comes from my childhood. I don't know if you know anything about my childhood.
I want the world to know. I would like you to explain this to us.
Okay. When my dad gave me away, and I was living with my great auntie, and I hate to tell you this on TV, but I was tortured from 3 years old. I was almost burned alive over the stove, and so never had a childhood, and I was secluded away. I never had friends. I was isolated, and something inside of me just was fighting to live, because kids, you want to die because there's no escape from this crazy woman. I was in the cotton field. I was picking cotton when I was 6, 7, 8 years old for like 10 years of that. And it just hardens you. It toughens you. You know what hard work means, and the threat of being tortured every day. So I just kind of used that energy. And I think God was working through me, because I yelled out to him one day at 10 years old, God, why do I have to live through this? You don't pick your parents. It's whoever who raises you. And I was unfortunate to have my great auntie, which my dad gave me away. So no one knows this story. I don't know if I could talk about this. Could I talk about this?
This is what's important, I think.
Okay, so my dad gave me away because he didn't want me. My mom ran away because he was going to kill her. She was very convinced of that. So, like I said, I'm stuck with this great auntie, and the 12 years of my life, the first 10, 12 years of my life, it was torture. It was hell. But somehow that instilled in me hard work, determination, just do the work. She always said, you take nothing from no one, you ask for nothing, you just do the work. So I thought when I got to California, if I just did the work and I looked better, I'm going to win. So that was my mindset at that point too. Yeah, so it was tough. I wrote a book, my memoir, Driven. So here's a copy of the book, Driven. That's the little 3-year-old kid on the cover. So it's about my life growing up down south, and survival. Just trying to survive.
They could
And
also watch that was turned into something with Generation Iron. Is that correct?
yes, it's a documentary, Driven, the Tony Pearson story. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Apple TV. You can get it on Vudu. It's everywhere.
We'll put the links up there again for you guys, because this is really one of those things I think everybody should see, because all they see, and is this incredibly good-looking, charming man with an incredible physique. So incredible, it's the pinnacle of what we try to achieve in bodybuilding, and they don't know the backstory, and they don't know the hardship, and I think really it's that hardship that you had as a youngster is set you up because you used it in a good way for you.
Yes, and a lot of people would turn that in a negative way because they're angry. They feel the world's turned against them. They're not going to survive, so they end up taking drugs and going to jail or dead. And bodybuilding saved my life. I have to tell you this, because without bodybuilding, I didn't have anything to fall back on. I didn't have anywhere to go, and I fell in love with the sport. there's a lot of kids who are in trouble today. With suicide, it's the highest it's ever been. Uh, Kids are, taking drugs, and they're looking for help. They're looking for help, somebody to help, and no one's listening to the kids. So I'm advocating for kids that it's okay. You can tell somebody. I was afraid to tell somebody this story. For 40 years, I kept it inside. I was embarrassed. I was afraid. I was ashamed. But like I said, you can't choose your parents. It is what it is, and you got to make the best of it. So I never became angry. And said, oh no, the world did this to me, and I did this. No, I just said, okay, I'm going to use this energy. And when I trained, I was training. I love training with Robbie Robinson because he tried to destroy you. But I would smile at him. So you never going to say,
Robbie.
I'm not going anywhere. And he said I was a pretty good training partner because I just relentless. I never said no. I never said I can't. I said I will. I can't wait. Give me the next set. So I'm just trying to advocate for kids that it's okay to tell somebody. Speak up, because no one's listening to the kids today. They're dying of suicide. They're taking drugs, and so it's tough out there. It's tough out there, and I just want kids to know that it's okay. Tell somebody. And another thing they should know is to find a passion in their life. If you have a passion in your life, you're gonna stay focused on that. If you really love it, you're gonna stay focused. I don't know if it's dancing, track and field, boxing, wrestling, whatever it might be. That's your passion. That's what you live for, day by day. And like I said, that saved me. That brought me to California. That got me on the world stage, and of course, I was discovered by the great Arnold. But it was just, and it was a dream. You got to dream. I tell kids, you have to dream about what you want in life. Don't be a follower. Be yourself. Think for yourself. Get outside the box. And if I know people dance and they're very talented in a lot of areas, but they don't pursue it. They feel, well, I'm going to fail. So what? You fall down, you get up. Just keep going. Like I said, I lost more shows than I ever won, but I kept coming back. And then the last time that I took off, I retired in '94. 18 years later, I came back.
Yes, you did.
And they go, how can this guy come back? I went to Germany. I was like 20 pounds overweight. I hated bodybuilding. I really did. I was
what year was this? What year was this when you put on a little bit of weight? You kind of pulled back.
1994, I retired after 20 years. And 18 years later, I came back. But what I didn't do in those 18 years, I never missed a workout. So that sustained my muscles. Because if you lay off in a certain age, you're not going to get the size back. But I did. In fact, in Europe, they said, oh, look, the arms and legs were bigger than before. So I improved in 18 years. So I had all this fat on me. And I'm going, I don't know what I'm going to look like once I get the fat off. I hope that the structure is still there. I hope the waistline is still small. And it was. But once again, I was training for 18 years because I loved what I was doing. I missed my workout. I had training partners. I just didn't compete anymore. So that got me back on stage. And I did a bit of a tour over there. And it was fun. I was back home again. It's like coming home. But when I retired, I was very bitter because of the situation with the IVB. If you read my book, you'll see what I said about it. But it's true. I didn't lie. I don't create stories. I tell truth. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But it's a situation that then I refused to go away. So I had an option. I could have walked away. So forget about this. No, it was something that I was like living. That was my life. That was my life. The hard work. What's wrong with hard work? People don't want to work. I do. I like working.
I got to stop you for a second because you said some stuff that's hard for me to fathom. You grew up, and the situation of when you grew up was tough, extremely tough, to the point of, again, you could have gone, I could never have heard of you if you went one way, and you could have gone that route. And there was something in you that I don't know if it wasn't put there because of your mother or your father. It was something that was in you that was there, and you didn't let nobody break you, which was a beautiful thing to see. And I just wish more kids today would have that umph, that whatever that warrior inside to go, I ain't gonna let you break me. And I know that's easy to say, and you grew up in such a much. I in no world had a childhood like you did. I just grew up with dyslexia, and so I couldn't read, which is a huge benefit because I believed, like I said, as soon as we started talking, this ignorant bliss that I could achieve anything. And here's come a kid that can't read worth shit. So, but you kept going forward, and it kept you alive through this whole time. What can you say to these kids that is waiting for somebody to come and save them? Relative to nobody came and saved you in a sense. There was years there that you had to hold yourself together. What can you say to these guys out there that are dealing with this kind of hardship?
Surround yourself with people who love you, care about you, and want to see you to get ahead. I mean, be careful who you choose as your friends. I don't have a lot of friends because they flock together. Like a bird of a feather, you flock together. So I very carefully choose who I'm going to hang out with. I had some friends back in the day. I don't know if you Kent Keene, Kent Keene, who passed away. Very good friend. He was always in my corner because he saw the stupid little kid from back east. He knows nothing. He's naive. I was so naive when I got to California. I had no friends. I grew up with no friends. I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. So when I got to LA, I was like, I didn't even talk. If you knew me, I didn't even have a word to say. I just trained. I couldn't hold a conversation with people. So you just got to find people that's going to support you, that believe in you, that see the potential in you, and keep telling you to keep moving forward, keep going, don't stop, don't quit. Don't, sometimes you get discouraged. Oh God, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You can do it. And that's the most important thing. Be careful because people try to bring you down. So the minute you try to get ahead, it's like they're trying to pull you back. They're trying to keep you at the level where they're at.
Right.
But the dream's got to be bigger than the world. When I won Mr. America, which the controversy behind that one, when Mr. America in '78, and then I'm walking down Muscle Beach, Venice Beach, and I'm walking on the boardwalk, and I go, God, what do I need to do to become a world champion? And without him giving the answer, I knew the answer. I got to go to work. So I knew that was the answer. I had to work 10 times harder. But that's what I did. I wanted to be the best in the world. And no one's telling you that. This is coming from within. You got to have this built inside of you that you want to be the best. And that means you got to work 10 times harder. Robert mentioned to me once, it says, see that 18-inch arm you got? He goes, to get any bigger, you got to train 10 times harder. That's what he said. So I said, oh my God, really? Yes. But I was not afraid. You can't be afraid. So once you get people around you supporting you and giving you direction, but you have to take it, you have to use it. And you have to be disciplined. Be disciplined on what you do. Pay attention to detail. People don't pay attention to detail anymore. I don't miss a beat because when I go on stage, I make sure everything is on point. Everything I do, every pose, face, hair, clothes, everything's on point. Pay attention to detail.
I got a question.
Find a sport that you love. People love to sing. Okay. You love to play football. Okay. Whatever that sport is, or whatever that singing or dancing, whatever it is, find the passion and you live it. You just live it for the rest of your life.
Could you talk about the '78 competition for a moment?
Yes.
and the controversy and all that kind of it surrounded. I think if I'm correct, it was '78 and '79. It was
70, for me, it was '78.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so what happened? '77, I went just real quick. I went to compete for the first time on a national level in Nebraska for the Junior Mr. USA. And I thought, yeah, okay. And I got my butt kicked. I came third in my class. So that trip back to LA was really gut-wrenching for me. And I realized, man, I got some work to do because those guys look phenomenal. This is a national stage. Who am I going to beat? So I went to work. That's what I did. Went back to Gold's Gym, Santa Monica. And then, if you won Mr. LA in those days, that's a big deal. Because a lot of those guys turned pro too. So I won the LA. That year, I won the Junior Mr. USA, Junior Mr. America, and Mr. America all in the same year. I went to work. I went home, shut my mouth, and got to work with my training partners. You just gotta. So it just
And you were a pup at this time, if I'm correct. Was you 22 at that time? Is
it
that correct?
it was 21.
21.
Yes.
21.
Yes. So you just go. It's just crazy. Just go back to work. That's all you could do. What can you do? At the America, Ron Tufo. Ron Tufo, they thought he was the favorite to win, and he was. He had all the cover of the magazines because there's no internet, no computer. You pick up a magazine every month. He's on the cover. He's on all the covers. He's got articles in the magazine. So I go, okay, so what is my chance? I just trained hard. I did the best I could do. I think my body, I was starving so hard that the last 3 weeks I would lie in bed and I could feel my stomach touching my backbone.
Yep.
I felt that feeling. It was painful. I think I was in the best shape ever. I was beyond cut. I was the biggest guy, but on stage, see, Sean Ray calls me the master illusionist because I look big on stage, but not in real life. So I got in great conditioning, and I said, just go and do the best you can do. I didn't have any publicity, even though I had won 2 junior national shows. I didn't get any publicity from it. We the magazines. So we're on stage. I win my class. Like 20 guys in my class. So I win the class, and then Manuel Perry, Manuel Perry, he won the tall class, and Tufo won the short class. So we're all standing there at the end of the night. There's a packed house, 5,000 people screaming their heads off. And the judges says, he called my name. So I'm so exhausted. I go, oh,